Hey, it's Chris back again. Um, Still the same day while I'm editing these videos, as you can see from the t-shirt. Um, but this video is where I start on my next big project, really. Um, so obviously, I've done a few couple of bits and pieces now, and I was just itching to get onto something that I could wear. Um, that being a sweater. So obviously, I'd watched a lot of videos and decided on the raglan sweater being the simplest way to knit my first sweater, and that obviously is what a lot of people say when you're just getting started. So that's what I did. So I'd gotten this haul of wool from Lidl, and essentially thought that was enough to do it. It didn't turn out that way, as we'll see as we go further through the project. But this is me kind of just having started out. For some reason, I didn't film me casting on or kind of starting to knit the yoke. I'm kind of already like a couple of balls in by the time I started recording it for some reason. But uh, there I am now in the next scene. Now I'm just literally kind of coming to the end of that, and I'll let myself pick up from there. I think it had already taken me a day just to also just to kind of get where I was. There was no kind of gauge watching or anything like that. I just went straight into it. Um, I started off with I think 8mm needles on the collar and was using 9mm for the body. Uh, I was struggling with the increases, um, which I kind of talk about a bit in the clip. Um, but yeah, so let me take it from here.
Okay, so here I am now. I'm just about reaching this end of a second ball of wool. Um, this is how it's looking so far. If I can figure out where those sleeves are. There we go. um, yeah, so it's getting close. You know, I thought that is how far it's reaching down there, but it's still got all the back there to go. It's not quite even really. So, but I'm thinking now. Um, I'm gonna join another piece of wool, do like a stripe across here. Um, but I'm just wondering whether I do that now because I have this much yarn left, and I'm wondering if I can just do another round of that, play some yarn chicken, and yeah, just I don't want the scrap bit of wool hanging around, to be fair. But and it'll be my first time skirting close to the edge. It's first time for everything. So yeah, so I'm just gonna give that a go now. I'll leave this on. My thimbles that dying. Can you see those? I have such sensitive fingers. I need these like coin things. But these are dying. But thankfully I also know a bit of leather work, so I might be able to take those out once these die and make my own. Who knows? We'll see. Okay, so let's take this off and let's see if I can get this going. Okay, where am I? Oh, that was helpful. Just slip the needle down a few couple of stitches. Okay. I've got my cord on like maximum extension at the moment, and for some reason it always seems to get really tight. Even though in theory there should be a lot of slack, so I don't know if I'm doing the magic loop thing wrong or whatever. But I've got I've got where I pull the magic loop through marked there with a stitch marker, so just when I reach either end of the magic loop I just pull it through, and each time lose the stitch marker on the other end, so I'll just have to go fish for that in a second. Just pull that through until I get the needle in the right place. So yeah, so I've got that much left of it now. Hello. Okay, got that all over there. And let's go. So this one is an increase round. I think when I cast on 20 stitches for the front and back and 10 for the sleeve, just because the collar worked out at around 40 stitches, so that seemed to be a sensible way to divide it. Yeah, I've obviously looked up online the various increases I could do. I'm still struggling with make one left and make one right for some reason, because I'm doing a glove and doing the increases on that. I can still, maybe it's just because it's like really fine yarn, but I can never quite get hold of the that little bar you're supposed to get for make one left, make one right to create the stitch. So for this one, I've done knit one front and back. Which, you know, with chunky wool it's a bit of a squeeze, but I kind of feel like it's a simpler one to do than the make one left, make one right. I have no idea if that's the way you're supposed to do it or whatever, but it's an increase. I've got my kind of like raglan stitch forming as I'm doing it. As far as I'm concerned, it works. You've got to start somewhere. Maybe I'll get more confident. I'll get more confident with understanding these kind of things over time. This is still only like my 4th or 5th starter project, you know. A couple of scarves, badly made hat and half a glove. So yeah. Oh, and my bag. I knitted a bag. Kind of really just like a big excuse to just kind of like knit in the round. Oops, just realised that was my increase. It's all well and good having a couple of stitch markers to denote that this is an increase, but you know, once you get in the flow, you forget these things, I guess. Okay, so undo that one. See, this is why I need these things here, because the tip of this is very sharp, so pushing it down is literally like sticking a compass in your finger, to be fair. I've done that already. I've kind of jabbed it straight through the leather into my finger, and it hurt. Right, so knit one front and back. Go on. Push that through there. pull it underneath and through, and that's one front to back. Okay, same again here. Now this is the question I have, I suppose, because obviously the make one left, make one right, I guess, you know, it determines the direction of the stitch. But knit one front to back, I don't think it does it the same way, in the sense that it naturally leans one way or the other, because it's essentially the same stitch on both sides, I guess, you know. But it seems to be working. I mean, I guess we'll find out once it's a bit more together. But yeah, I'll just knit for now and maybe speed this bit up. It takes a while to get around this thing now. It's like, I haven't really timed it, but I'm sure it must take about 20 minutes to do a round now. I mean, that could just be my speed, but I think it's also just there's that many stitches on here now. I do not fancy counting them. Well, I've just hit the halfway point, the switch over point on the magic loop, and then I realized, well, I did one increase here, I've got to do the one on the opposite side, so I'm gonna have to undo all of that to get back to it. There we go. I would like to be mad about it. What am I going to do, you know? I mean, at the halfway point, this is still how much I've got left, so I think I might win this round. I think this will be enough to get me through. But yeah, I'm just going to go undo that, finish the rest of the round, and then I'll join on the next colour to start the stripe. Yeah, and I'll be back for that. Okay. So I managed to undo everything and get everything sorted out again. But now I'm at the point where, oh, there we go. I'm at the point where I've got the new colour on. It's just the first round. So, but obviously now I've got to do the joining up. I've had a look online. Apparently there's a technique that you just essentially, because I've tried this on my bag. Well, my bag was like a double knit project. And when I was switching over the colours, it kind of like had this kind of like offset in the colour where it started. I didn't know anything about how to fix it, but for this one I thought I'd have a look and see if there was a solution to it. Apparently there is, which I'm sure you probably know more than me and are aware of this, but apparently if I just kind of like pick up the stitch and the beginning of the round where the colour started, and then pull that up, I think it's that way you could do it, isn't it? So kind of pull it up and onto the needle. Oh, if I can do that even. Seems to be, I think this wool is very kind of like, I want to say Velcro-y, but you know, knitting together well, in the sense that the fibers really seem to like cling to each other almost instantly. I think it's from the back and then up and over, and then so essentially then you've got like the two stitches there, and then you knit through them both. So I need to hold on to that first strand a bit. So you knit through them both. And that helps to keep the colours. Try to see how that works. There's those. And that should be top one. I mean, I'm not sure about this. It's doesn't quite look right to me. There's still the pink bump there. Maybe I've just pulled the green too tight. I think that's obviously the top. That's obviously the top stitch, and they've kind of sunk in around the wire a bit there. Maybe if I pull those out, it'll look a bit more natural. There. Along there. Yeah, no, actually I can see how that works. Because now, if I can put it through, I mean, I think that's just from where the new colour joined. So I think that looks a lot better. So it's just pulling through there, but eventually I'll get round it a little more like that. So I think that's okay. Find out.
Okay, so that's where I'd gotten to at this point. As you can see, I'm kind of struggling a bit with those kind of increases, as I mentioned at the beginning. I don't know what it is about, whether it's just me, my technique I was using, whether I kind of was just not really thinking through the process of using make one left and make one right. But I thought that the two, knit front and back was the best increase, mainly because it was easier for me, really. So hopefully, you'll see how that turns out. But yeah, so on to the next video.